So, after having gone through the entire course on geophysical exploration methods, hope you can recollect the questions I raised during the first lecture of this course. Right? I raised couple of questions. I told you we will be able to get answers to the questions at the end of this course. Right? What was the first question? Today I thought of just recollecting the questions which we posed and how the question which I have posed can be answered with the techniques we have learned as a part of this course. The first question which I posed is how to determine an ideal site for groundwater recharge system. Right? In this picture, we see a injection well. Right? A injection well is located at this place to inject the excess fresh water into the aquifer. There are several other recharge systems. One can be percolation pond or a infiltration well or a check dam and so on. How do you think the methods which we have learnt so far will help to identify a potential site? What are the criteria? Very simply I am going to discuss, right? For a region to function as a potential recharge area, the basic criteria is we should have a porous formation. Porous may be a sand deposit. Right? Suppose if you have a sandy area, right, or a formation that can allow water to infiltrate, they can be only the potential sites for groundwater recharge. How can we identify such sites? What are all the techniques we have learnt during this course? Can you answer me? Right? I will tell you, we had seen initially electrical resistivity method. To identify sandy deposit, we can use resistivity method. Right? We can also use ground penetrating radar. Right? If you have a simple seismic system, why not? Seismic system can also be used because the sandy formation as well as the water table can be determined by seismic methods. So, these are all the simple methods which we can use to answer to this question. Right? Is that clear? So, I will say the simplest method may be to use electrical resistivity method. If we have GPR, we can also deploy GPR since it is going to be very fast to delineate zones which are having more of sand, regions which are having higher amount of clay. So, we need to identify a sandy region to go for a groundwater recharge project. Then the next question was related to water supply, right? Maybe of interest to a hydrogeologist or a water resources engineer. How to identify a location for drilling a well for water supply? Right, that is the question he has. Right, what are all the methods we have seen? We can make use of vertical electrical sounding, that is a electrical resistivity method. Right, here too sometimes we may use electromagnetic method. Electromagnetic method is much more rapid, very non-invasive. We had seen electromagnetic methods. Electromagnetic methods and electrical methods can be used to identify a potential site for water supply well. Right? Am I clear? So, this question can be answered with the tools which we have seen previously. Apart from the surface method, we may also deploy borehole logging. Borehole logging methods, right? We may do a test drill hole and then deploy our tools to understand lot of information about the subsurface. We had seen toward the end of this course during 12th week, right? That is just before this, we have seen different borehole logging methods using which we can determine what is the porosity of the formation, approximately we can determine what is the hydraulic conductivity. So, borehole logging methods can also be used to identify a potential site for drilling a borehole, and also within the borehole which is the potential location for placing the well screen can be answered using borehole logging methods. Then I will move on to the next question, may be of relevance to environmental engineers. How will you know that a groundwater remediation project is progressing well? Right. Suppose if you have groundwater contaminated and you are doing some process of remediation. So, remediation is the process by which we want to do a kind of cleaning up to a situation as far as possible that was existing before the contamination. What are all the tools which we can use to understand this? Here too we can use electrical methods, electromagnetic methods, and we can also use logging. In fact, I gave you an example of application of logging methods to understand oil contamination. The oil that got leaked, I presented a case study. So, these methods can be used to answer the question of understanding the impact of a remediation project, right. Then the fourth question we had seen is how we can assess rapidly the condition of the subsurface for a major infrastructure project, which will be a profile based assessment have to be done for several kilometers. You can see a picture where a elevated metro rail work is coming up. How can we assess before the commencement or at the stage of preparation of detailed project report, DPR? What are all the methods which we can use? We can use electrical profiling, resistivity profiling, electrical resistivity profiling, or ground penetrating radar, or the ideal methods, right, or walk time domain electromagnetic methods can be put into use, right. Since these four questions are oriented towards engineering applications, most of the tools which we have discussed were dependent on electrical as well as ground penetrating radar. Suppose if you want to identify a metalliferous deposit, then we may use magnetic methods. Suppose if you want to locate the presence of large cavities below the surface of the earth, then seismic as well as gravity methods. To understand the climate change impacts on water balance of the earth, we can use gravity methods, right. For a geotechnical purpose, to identify a suitable site for laying foundation for a major infrastructure project, a major dam or a nuclear power plant, to understand the foundation strata characteristics, we can use seismic as well as multi-channel analysis of surface waves, MASWA, right. So, these are all the tools which we have learned during this course. We have seen almost all the tools that are available for understanding the subsurface, starting from simple to the most advanced airborne transient electromagnetic methods as well as nuclear magnetic resonance imaging. I also gave the course objectives at the beginning of this NPTEL course. These are all the objectives. I am sure I have fulfilled the objectives of the course. I have provided you the physical properties of the earth. I have also given an insight of all the geophysical techniques to understand the subsurface, and we had also looked into several case studies on the geophysical techniques to understand the groundwater resources application in geotechnical as well as environmental studies. I am sure this course was very useful to you. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.